The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
What is up, everybody? Good evening. It's finally Friday, my favorite day of the week, because I get to come hang out with all of yous right here on the men's room. I'm your host, the Appalachian American. Joining me as always, my left-hand man, the author, David Applegate.
G'day, friends and fans. Welcome to another fantastic episode of the men's room. Happy birthday, America.
From an outside of America perspective. Joining us all the way from the round table himself, the Anime Knight.
Hey guys, hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July. Happy 248th birthday to our beloved country, one we love so much. And reminder, we are a constitutional republic, not a democracy. There's a vast
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the winning
people,
phrase.
Do research.
Yeah, do your research. That man humming in the background is Dr. Coffin Nails.
Good evening. Happy July 5th. And even though I was not in Vietnam, I'm having Vietnam flashbacks because of all the fireworks my neighbors are setting off, but that's okay.
Oh, Lord. Hey, Normie Carl's in the Rumble chat. What's up, Normie Carl?
Hey, Normie Carl.
We're over here we're live on Rumble, X, and YouTube. So, where should we get started? I'm guessing you guys are caught up on The Boys, so we get to finally have a chance to talk about it.
Yep.
Let's see. Live now, talking about hashtag
the boys.
Yeah.
Hashtag breast milk.
Oh my gosh.
That was
I just knew, dude, I knew they were going to do something with her, because that was like, she was wearing that outfit a little too tightly, a little too revealing, and like, I knew they was going to do something. But I don't know. I mean, you all know he has that desire. I don't want to say the F-E-T-I-S-H word on YouTube, but he has that longing desire to partake of the milk.
Right. Hopefully
there were two things. Well, you could see the milk. You could see something was coming the way she was always. There was always going to be something between those two, because she was always there, eager, motor running. You know what I mean? She was since day one. She's been presenting herself to him. Breast milk reveal, that was very clever. But Carl Urban, excellent acting. That was excellent. That was just such a. You could see it coming that there was something wrong, and just the moment he turns around and says, "Shut up," you just wait.
They went all Beautiful Mind on him. Have you seen that movie?
That's exactly right. Beautiful Mind.
They beautiful minded Kyle Urban. The movie, it's about an actual guy.
Mathematician.
Who's the lead in that? Is it Russell Crowe?
I think I'm not sure, but it's about a mathematician who was the expert on cracking codes, but he cracked under pressure, and then he started. Then they follow his delusional life of after that, where he has these illusionary friends, and his wife puts up for him 20 years. She finally puts her foot down, and he looks at him, and like he stands for a whole minute before it dawns on him. And in 20 years, the little girl hasn't aged.
Right. He thought he had a roommate in college. It turns out he never had a roommate in college. That kind of thing. You know, it's like
And it turned out he never broke the Amygdala code. Nobody did. He just thought he did.
Right. He did come up with game theory, though.
Yes, that was his. Yeah. Well, that's mostly because he sorted himself out.
Right. But yeah, that was a big reveal. What is everyone's overall impression of this season? I'm interested to know what you guys think.
It is a step down in subtlety.
I think it's a step down.
Yeah, it's very in your face.
I think it's a step down overall. It's like the woke has gone completely to the forefront. There's still some good things in it.
Yeah.
Like David was saying, Carl Urban is great. I like the Firecracker character. I like who else did they introduce?
Well, following Mate Tech Knight.
He was okay.
I love it. Tech Knight's supposed to be Batman.
Yeah, they do the thing where there's a thing in the comic, if you've read the comic, where he actually has a brain tumor and wants to do things to any hole he finds, and they kind of address that in the last episode. But it's like
that was gross.
Yeah, it was disgusting. It's over and here's my complaint. Well, I have many complaints, but it's always male nudity, never female nudity.
Yeah.
Always with everything now. And this is probably the worst offender in that regard. I mean, if in the breast milk scene, wouldn't it have been great to see an actual breast, but we're not going to see that.
No comment.
No comment. You don't want to see that?
Well, I'm sure my wife's probably watching.
Seth doesn't want to see that.
And she's.
I just said no comment. I didn't say I didn't want.
I'm saying if you're gonna have nudity, have both. I mean, it's like. But anyway, it's not going to happen. I'm not holding my breath on that one. But
this is the most PG-13 R-rated show.
Well,
it's a good way of putting it.
Is it though?
I mean, we saw full frontal male nudity in episode 4 or 5. I can't remember which one it is. The guy that can replicate himself.
Love sausage.
Yeah.
Love sausage.
Yeah. Did we really?
That was in season 2.
I'm talking about. Oh yeah. Well, there was that guy.
Orgasm. Herogasm.
Mm-hmm.
There was dicks in Herogasm.
Yeah, but he's talking about this season.
I'm talking about the season, the current season 4, I believe it is. But there's like full frontal male nudity. There's schlongs all over the place. Let me just put it that way. And it's like, it's like I don't really need to see that. I don't really care to see that. But apparently I'm going to see it.
Yeah, it's a step down. It's a sausage fest. And the thing is, this isn't aimed at women. This is definitely aimed at gay men. This is.
Well, I think it's also for shock value.
Shock value too.
Yeah, but I mean, how many more wieners do we have to look at?
But the thing is,
before it's all over, a lot, I'm guessing.
Yeah. See, the thing is, Kripke doesn't get the point. Like when the show started, he was really following Gareth Ennis's vision of lampooning both sides. That there are absurdities on both sides. There are extremists that need, and the best way to deal with extremists is to lampoon them, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is, Kripke's been slowly winding back his side, trying to paint them as angelic or
right.
But
the criticisms are 95% against the right. At this point.
But the thing is, there are things he can't take out. So what's he done? He's retconned Victoria as her own character, not an AOC stand-in. And having her come out as
because she mentioned AOC in it. But one big retcon that I've noticed is this morning I actually went back to see the beginning because it's been a long time since I've seen like the very first episode and the very first just any of that first season. And I was like, I want to go back and see where it all started. And I didn't realize, but Starlight is supposed to have super strength.
Yeah, they mentioned it a few times. I mean,
But
she
it's
does in the
very-
show.
Right,
she
but
does
it's
in the
very
show,
like
but not as strong.
No,
they have very much depowered her.
Yeah.
well, she's very depowered now because she's not even able to use her damn powers practically.
Well, I mean,
in the last
yeah, but
several
I'm just
episodes.
saying, like, she should be able to. I really feel like they've kind of walked away from her powers. I mean, all that she does is fly and spark and stuff like
Right.
that. So why have they gotten away from that? Because in the first episode of season 1, she's like punching brick walls and lifting cars, and
I'd forgotten about that totally.
yeah, now she doesn't do any of that.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're trying to paint her powers as sunlight powered rather than energy powered, I think.
Right.
Because notice they're always, when it's in the dark, she's always going eye roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yet when she got fired up,
Mm-hmm.
she took on the when she got fired up in the 2 episodes ago and punched the living daylights out of Firecracker.
Yeah.
That was like, wait a minute. How come her powers only work when the script wants them to work?
Yes.
Is that it?
And like, I mean, she
Mhm.
didn't really do too much damage to her. All she did was punch her in the face. If
Look
she'd
at
have
her
been
bloody
that,
nose.
if she had have been that pissed off, she would have pulverized her. Like she would have ripped her head off.
Well, Firecracker is also a super, so I'm guessing she's pretty durable compared to a normal human.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all supposed to be
But
pretty
the fact that she damaged her shows her the power dynamic, though.
right.
Okay, well, I didn't think of it that way. I didn't realize. I don't know what Firecracker's powers are, so
They're all
She
supposed
gets-
to be. All supers
gets-
seem to be pretty durable on the show. I mean, they're more durable than normal humans.
But it does appear that she can create some sort of spark explosive.
Right. But we really don't. I wish we'd get to see more of that, like have her use it as a weapon. It'd be nice, but
Well, it appears that she's more of a she's a token. She's there not to. It's like
right.
it's like Noir. The Noir character turns out he is a soup, right?
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
one playing Noir now is a soup, and
Mhm.
he's playing the dead Noir. He's a stand-in.
Right.
That was clever. Everybody thought they were going with zombie Noir, but they went with, hey, we found a stand-in who's going to be a silent ninja who
well, was it?
doesn't seem to know how to act.
Was
Right.
all right, so wasn't it supposed to be a
Originally,
Homelander clone?
Originally,
In the
yes.
comic, it is. Yeah, he's a.
That's
In
what I
the
thought.
comic, it is, and in the comic, there's also a version of Noir who is a V zombie.
Mhm.
Kind of like what
Noir was,
no, kind of like what Huey's dad was.
yeah.
Because Huey's
Yeah,
dad was brain dead, but they gave him V
Yeah.
and he was able to function.
But he
off
was
of
still dead.
old-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't really appreciate that whole sequence. I thought that was more of like a, let's kill somebody like Canada's doing, is allowing people to do that. I don't know if that was the intention, but
here's the thing: if Huey can kill his dad with a
Right.
chemical cocktail, why aren't they picking off soups every day?
I don't know.
That's a good point because dude had V in him. He should have been invulnerable to it.
Right. And spoiler alert for
Yeah.
anyone that's listening, we're revealing major spoilers if you haven't watched all 6 episodes.
5.
So
Very
sorry.
5. Yeah, sorry. But the problem with the script is things only work once.
Hmm.
Right?
Exactly.
What happened to the V gun? I thought they had I thought they had anti-soup guns because
Right.
Edgar used to threaten Homelander with them all the time.
In the comic, they're all soups. All the boys are, not just Kamiko. I mean, they're all. They even give Huey some. I mean, Butcher just like forces it on him later in the comic, but
Yeah.
he has like minor superhuman strength. You know, it's like, but he didn't have teleportation powers like he did in the show.
But what happened to his powers? Like,
Well,
I
he
just
stopped
don't
taking.
really
He was taking the temp V.
temp V, that's right.
Yeah, so that's which is what Butcher was taking. If you take it more than a few times, it causes horrible effects, which are now, I think that was the, in the comic, there's no such thing as temp V. It's just like a contrivance of the show. I could see,
to try and explain away their on again, off again. Like,
right.
We only want this. We need this for this one episode.
Right.
And later we need this one episode.
There does seem to be a lot of that.
It's retconning itself constantly now.
Well, it does what I think a lot of shows do that I don't like. It's like something happens and then something else will happen to where it's back to status quo in a very contrived way where they have to do it all over again.
Yeah, there's zero. The thing is, it fits with their mentality of zero difference. Whatever happens, it always goes back to equilibrium, which is bullshit. But
I mean, there should be stakes. More major people should be dying. I mean, occasionally people do die. But...
Yeah, it's like it's either a procedural cop show where nobody dies, or if you're going to introduce deaths, you're going to have high stakes, particularly when Homelander can cut you in half.
Oh my! Does anybody follow Quarterback Garrett on Twitter?
No, sir.
I think I do, but I hardly ever check out Twitter. So what's going on with him?
He posted, it was a sketch that they put together from his show Normal World, I think. Yeah, Normal World. Of exclusive footage of the canceled Netflix Power Ranger series. And oh my, I'm going to have to mute it for copyright reasons. But all it is the, hang on. All it is the Power Rangers like original theme song. So when I show this to you, if you'll just watch it with those goggles, and it's Quarterback Garrett that says we need marginalized. Wait, what does he say? We need marginalized trans acceptance. As he like,
oh jeez,
yeah, it's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be funny. So this is their version of Netflix Power Rangers. We need marginalized trans acceptance now.
Oh my god.
Hold on. It gets better.
Oh boy.
Oh
what?
God.
What in
this is a joke, right?
What? Is this satire?
Wait a minute.
Oh my god in heaven.
This can't be real. It's too on the nose to be real.
It's a skit they did for their show.
Okay.
What in tarnation?
Okie dokie. it's
I quit the internet tonight.
Yes, my kid is
oh my. I don't get it, but whatever.
Okay.
Weird. That is extremely weird.
So,
I hate to do this to you
I guess
Let's see. What?
I said I hate to do this to you if you're a fan of the Power Rangers, but you could make a case for trans, because didn't they have a man playing the character that on the American version was actually a woman? So there you go.
So I just in our private chat I dropped a link for the full.
Oh yeah, I got to see that
clip. So if you guys want to watch it, it might be funny. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. I'm
going to mute myself in case
you're exactly right, because they've used a lot. It was primarily men in the show Power Rangers, and then it turns out that they used female characters like when they were unmasked. In one of the newer series, there was a Green Ranger that was a girl, and to get away with using the footage, when she transformed and when she morphed and was the Green Ranger, she had a skirt, and she was like, skirts aren't really my style, and she yanks it off real quick. That way they could use the Sentai footage and you wouldn't see it. She ended up being gay, and so they were all like, yeah, she's so brave. Oh, finally,
Mhm.
a gay character, and it's like, dude, who cares?
I hate how they say finally. When how many gay characters have we had now?
A lot.
Well, there's never been like a on-screen gay, and that's what they're thinking.
You mean on the Power Rangers? You mean there hasn't been?
Yeah,
Okay,
they
gotcha.
wanted a on-screen gay.
Nazi fags.
Mm.
So
Isn't David Yost isn't David Yost gay?
yeah, but Billy Cranston was not
Which one is he? The blue or the green?
the original Blue.
Okay,
He was
In real life, he was, but in the show, he was not.
right.
So they were talking about that it was the first for the on-show
Mhm.
character, which the girl that played it wasn't. But
Yeah, it's
I heard all the dirty shit they did to David during like behind the scenes and everything, and I was not happy.
yeah.
He's-
Hollywood is
let him
real
be himself.
scummy with bullying. It's rife with bullying behind the scenes. They're talking about the other day what a shit show some of the production for Fast X was, because you know they're all griping about money. They're all trying to undercut each other because
is
they
that
all have
movie
contracts
getting
with
a sequel? Fast X, by the way.
yeah.
Hmm.
Fast X Part 1 and 2 or something. I don't know.
Well, Fast X Part 1 is already out. I've already got it, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, when are they ever going to do Part 2? Like,
That's the problem. See, in all their contracts, they have a no lose clause.
yeah,
And like The Rock and Vin Diesel have been feuding because they were supposed to fight and they didn't.
well,
And
they did in like the fifth one. It was,
Yeah,
it was
but
a small
they cut it.
altercation.
Yeah. But nobody won or lost that fight. It was all, you know, I get up again. I get up again. I get up again.
Right.
You know.
Right, but nonetheless, The Rock's not even in the last one.
No, because well, he's wanted to be, and apparently but this time they're having contract disputes. I mean, it's not just The Rock and Vin Diesel; they're all Statham, and they're all having contract disputes. They were all promised movies that haven't appeared, and that's why they're all blaming Vin Diesel because
They are.
he dragged out the production of Fast X.
I mean, he wanted it to be good. I can get that.
Yeah, but the problem is how many retakes do you need?
Well, maybe.
I don't know. I'm just saying that I think it's because good is so subjective, and a lot of people saying, you know, when you have 12 takes and they went with the second take, you know, that and the cost of production, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't eat in.
But
It doesn't eat into the producers. I mean, that's the thing. They have it, according to major news and Variety, and that directors don't want to work with Vin Diesel, and that's the major issue.
Well, the worst part about it though is he's the one isn't he like the biggest producer of it?
Yeah, he's now the major.
so,
he's
yeah.
now the lead producer. Yeah,
Well,
since 5 to get him back for 5 and 6, they had to give up a bit of producing credit. But since then, he's been putting into more and more into it and taking over and took over, which upset the others because they never got the offer.
yeah, but see, that's the problem. All right, here's the thing that nobody really wants to talk about is the fact that Vin Diesel is doing what Paul Walker wanted to do.
Yes.
So that is the biggest problem, is the fact that everybody else, like The Rock, the reason why I'm very much team Vin Diesel on this, because The Rock wants to milk the franchise dry.
Absolutely. He wants to use it.
He wants
to-
side movies. He wants all the
They've already
Yeah.
had at least one side movie, haven't they?
yeah,
But-
Hobbs and Shaw.
And the
And
thing is,
it's pretty decent.
yeah, the thing is,
I heard
it was
that wasn't
again,
bad. I
The
haven't
Rock.
seen it yet.
It's good. You should watch
No.
it. Paramount
Yeah,
Plus, I
the
think.
problem- yeah, but the problem with that is The Rock wasn't happy and walked away, and it's like, dude,
Yeah.
Yeah, his
that's
one
your fault.
success he walks away from is like his one
Well,
well-liked
plus-
movie.
so like Paul Walker wanted to do 10 films. Like he had a 10-film
They had a
story
plan.
arc plan.
Right.
And The Rock came in and just wanted to
Ad.
excuse me. The Rock wanted to come in and just kind of toss that idea and then come out with a multiverse type thing with all these different offshoot movies and getting away from like the original game plan of the franchise.
But then The
And-
Rock used to sell Black Adam and other stuff. which
Yeah,
was
and
totally
The Rock
related.
just didn't want The Rock wanted to do all that and that way and that's not what Paul Walker wanted. When Paul Walker passed away, that Vin Diesel wanted to put out his story and his thoughts and that's that's what he wanted to do. So I'm definitely team Vin Diesel on this because I think that's
That part I support. I just
That-
don't
that's
support the fact
admirable.
that I just don't support the fact that they dragged out the production of Fast X just so that Vin Diesel could get back at the others, for criticizing of his performance in past movies.
I guess I could see that because that would be kind of annoying.
Yeah, just making people do reshoot after reshoot after reshoot.
I miss
Yeah.
the racing aspect of it.
Well, I do think they're trying to get back to it because there's a little bit more racing in the later. In Fast X, there's more car stuff involved.
Yeah.
That's cool and all. I like
Didn't
that.
they go into outer space at one point?
In 9.
At night.
Yeah,
I
they took a
wanted to
Pontiac
go back
Fiero.
I wanted to go back to like the Need for Speed Midnight Club esque type,
Okay, here's the thing.
but
The original pitch, believe it or not, was Racer X. That was the
Really?
original pitch. Yep, Paul Walker was supposed to be a Racer X. Was supposed to be Racer X. This was originally pitched as
Really?
a sequel to Speed Racer. Yep,
Huh,
That's
and Paul
interesting.
Walker was supposed to be Racer X. Yep,
that's cool.
and when Vin Diesel got involved, it became
I could see that.
it became a thing about street racing. But Paul Walker stayed as a cop.
How familiar are all of you with Speed Racer, the original cartoon or anime, whatever you want to call it?
I saw that. I
Um,
grew up on it. Yeah.
I grew up on that show.
I
I grew
know
up on
of it.
reruns of that show.
I really enjoyed it. I don't know it, faithfully, but I do know. I understand some of the stuff you're talking about.
Oh, I love that. I love that cartoon. It's so good.
Yeah,
It was
but
great.
the whole idea is he didn't want it to be a direct sequel because they couldn't buy the rights, but he wanted it to be enough that it was an homage.
Well, that makes me want to watch all those films now because
But it
Race-
never got. But after 3,
Mhm.
they got further away from Paul's original vision, and it was like it was.
What's the last
because
movie
they
Paul
kept
Walker
looking
was in?
directors-
7.
7. Okay, so he never made it to 9. Obviously,
No.
that stinks.
But they never see. They kept losing directors. They kept losing writers. They kept losing cast. Having the jumble cast and try and get them back again. But after 5, people eventually said, "Okay, we're going to come back. We're going to come back. We're going to come back." But they always had that problem where you had whether Statham and Rock were never on the same never on the set together. Then you had Vin Diesel and The Rock never on the set together. It just became a shit show. And it almost fell apart. X was almost never made. And then it was almost never completed because he just kept dragging on and on with reshoots.
If you want to watch, this is my recommendation. I'll give you a sidebar here. If you want to get into Speed Racer, the original cartoon, see if you can watch Race For Revenge. It's a 2-part episode. A lot of them were either 2 or 3 parts, but that's my all-time favorite. I just watched it like 3 months ago. Actually, I have the Blu-rays. So
my favorite's the one where they're racing through the. But he's got to have Trixie as his navigator, and they're trying to race through, and there's all this cheating going on.
Oh yeah,
it's just so amazing.
They're all so good. It's like people dying right and left. I mean, it's like just the death rate in those races was like had to be like 60%. I mean, everyone died. Cars blew up with people inside.
I mean, there's even scenes where Speed is knocking cars off a cliff. You know,
oh yeah,
through the canyons and this big wide canyon, and he's like,
his car was so cool; it could do all these things. You know, it's like,
but he was the only one who could ever jump. You know, and so there are many races that were only he could finish because some cheat would come along and blow a tree over or.
Right, he just saw right through it. You know, it's like
back to. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. I talk about Speed Racer all day.
Yeah. Well, what we were talking about Fast and Furious. Which one did you stop at?
5, I think.
You stopped at 5, David?
Yeah.
I've only seen a couple of them. I think I've seen Tokyo Drift and the ones before that.
Tokyo Drift was Tokyo Drift was a double retcon. First they retconned it in, then they retconned hard.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, see, what they wanted to do was they wanted to turn it into an anthology. Fast and Furious was just going to be a different, like kind of like Halloween drifted off and did Halloween 3 and was it 3 and 4?
So there were none of the original characters in Tokyo Drift?
At the end of it, they realized like we should probably bring Vin Diesel in. Like I don't think it tested well, so they brought Vin Diesel in the end and tied it all together and realized
Halloween 3 was the only one without Michael.
Then they wanted to do kind of that. And see if they could do like an offshoot. Every movie was going to be just a different story.
Now, the odd thing about that is Vin Diesel wanted $20 million, which is why they dropped him from the movie in the first place. And then they went to bring him back, and he asked for $21 million, and they said no. And then he asked for the rights to Pitch Black, and they said yes. Now, the rights to Pitch Black were pretty much close to expiring anyway, but he managed to get the Riddick movie made in time.
Gotcha. Never saw that one.
Well, that's what brought him back to Fast and Furious.
Everybody's egos.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Everybody has egos nowadays. That's what kills the whole thing. I mean,
but the problem is when you have a 17 million,
Statham, you're like, we can't lose.
Yeah, we can't lose.
Like, oh my God, it's gonna wreck my reputation. Fuck that.
Yeah, if they would just have a little more humility, they could all sit back and just make a lot of money.
Taking an ass beating.
The thing is, Statham was the bad guy in 1, and then he's the good guy in 3 later. You know, one movie, and then he's the good guy, and then they
never understood that change.
Then they bring in new bad guys, but then they just lose them along the way, you know, just forget about it. And then they bring back their dead son, and it's like, did he die? Didn't he die? And it's just, that's the real problem, is the lack of consistency. But here's another problem. When the movie started making $1 billion,
killed it.
Yeah.
In what Fast 5?
Nice.
There's the Mach 5.
Yeah, Jason Momoa.
The Matchbox car version.
I could not stop.
Yeah, he was
laughing.
Hysterical.
Like at some of the scenes, I loved his humor. I loved his humor, and he was like wearing that robe with the curlers and then all the stuff and everything. I'm just like, this is too.
I saw the trailer and went,
for me, but it was effective. I'm like, I can live with this. Why can't we have more humorous villains at least?
I don't mind. I just thought, geez, Jason Momoa. Nah, I'm sick of that guy. Yeah, I'm sick of them trying to make him a thing. You know, they just finished making Rock the thing, and then they turn around and say, "Oh, let's make Jason Momoa a thing now." It's like, what? You just finished making a Rock the thing. You know,
I did like Verone in Too Fast, Too Furious. I did like him because he was.
Oh, dude, I want to see him come
ruthless.
back, dude. I would love to see him come back.
Didn't they kill Verone?
It was like a GTA Vice City.
It was.
character,
The second
like a
one was
Vice
like
City
GTA.
I love the second one.
The second one was brilliant.
Oh
The
my
fifth
God,
one, the fifth one is my all-time favorite.
For hours and not get bored.
The fifth one is my favorite, but the second one is like
I
second
could
favorite.
watch Too Fast, Too Furious and not get bored.
Oh yeah. If it's ever on, I'm watching it.
I took a break after 5. I took a break after 5, but I watched 7 after I heard Paul Walker pass just to see where it is, and surprisingly, I enjoyed it. I'm like, okay, I can live with this.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that ending, though. I was like, okay, this is a proper send off. No need.
Mm-hmm.
There was no need. I mean, Mia and the kids were fine. That was my one criticism of.
I saw the making of that movie. I saw how they made that movie. They got Paul Walker's brothers to be body stand-ins, and then they did a morph.
I thought that was sweet.
Instead of instead of pasting Paul Walker's face over him, what they did is they morphed the features and then told the computer to do it, you know, basically frame by frame. They morphed the features of the brothers so they looked like Paul rather than just pasting over the top.
And it was very well done. I barely noticed it because of how good it was. I'm like, see, this is how you do it. If done right, you could get more like that. If it's done right by people,
see, that's the mistake they made with Henry Cavill.
It's effective.
Yeah.
I agree. They made the mistake with that. They
Henry Cavill is
so
just
badly. It was painful. It was painfully noticeable.
Because most
if you
men
really focus on it.
Because his moustache, like most men, sit on the lip. When they went to overlap it, you immediately flatten the features of the face rather than they should have morphed him with lips from previous scenes where he doesn't have a moustache in other movies. But instead of morphing his features, they just pasted, and that flattened the image. But people like me with poor eyesight didn't notice. It's just the people who can notice got really annoyed. But they complain too much.
I mean, I understand how difficult it is.
It is very difficult when,
to a degree, though, if you don't know what the hell are you,
never awarded reshoots.
What the hell you're doing? Why even bother?
Yeah, if they can't plan a movie out properly in the first place, Zack Snyder, every Zack Snyder movie has the same problem. Poorly planned out, full of reshoots, and the hype from his first movie carries over into the next couple, right? He does one good movie, and then the following movies are all crap because he's just floating on his own, he's high off his own farts, you know what I mean? He's not trying. He's not caring.
Did anyone get this?
If I were to,
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Did anyone? Go ahead, Coffin.
This is a digression. But speaking of that, did anyone get the little thing in the Boys where they're talking? They're obviously making fun of Marvel. Where they're talking, they got all these movies up there, and it's like we're gonna take you through 19 phases.
That was
and then the other film is like, we just finished reshooting the reshoots, so this is the budget's been tripled. It's got to be a good movie, right?
Yeah. What about the virtual advertising?
Yeah.
Where he's talking about the
Oh,
cherry.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my
The casual
God.
racism getting the deep.
Oh yeah.
That was obviously a dig at
Oh yeah.
Bob Iger and his
Oh yeah.
parks
That was
experience.
obviously
the-
aimed directly at Marvel. That whole section there was hilarious.
But I think a lot of people didn't notice, but there are slight. Well, this is, I think, it's directly mostly at Marvel, but there's never been, other than a slight reference to DC. It's almost if they've deliberately ignored DC for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. Well, other than
And
the
then
fact
they
that
went with the
Homelander is
most
basically
obvious-
Superman.
Yeah, except for that. But then there's the obvious. There's no other. You know what I mean? It wasn't. Then they said, "Oh no, the Deep's Aquaman." Really?
Mm-hmm. No.
And then so you think, "Oh wait, is it? Is it?" Then you see how they didn't evenly match out. Right? Every superhero was a composite. It wasn't a neat, straight up. And then you think, wait a minute. Are they going at Marvel or they? I know it's supposed to have started off as a direct, attack on superheroes in general, but it does feel like it's only those mega franchises that they're focused on, like Tech Knight. Everybody growing up with the original Batman would always make the gay jokes about Batman and Robin, right? Particularly the way they always portrayed them climbing up a wall where Batman's always firmly pressed up against Robin. But it never hurt. It never hurt to satire superheroes before. But I think they're making out the boys to be something like it's groundbreaking when we had the Watchmen.
Before that, everyone forgets Brat Pack. Rick Veitch did that. I don't know if anyone remembers that. That was pretty savage.
Yeah.
That was basically the Justice League, only all their sidekicks were being horribly abused and they had to replace them for merchandising reasons to make money. And it's like it's pretty savage satire. And it's pretty
I remember one where they'd have the superheroes were ugly, but the people they put on stage were beautiful and all American, with the 6'6" and all that. And then when in real life they're all, a bunch of misfits.
I don't remember
I think
that.
it was very short. I think it was a very short parody that was done on late night television. I can't remember which one, but there have been parodies before. It's just,
I mean, they've been deconstructing them since the 80s, since Watchmen and before and after. But I mean, let's do a good reconstruction, then I'll be impressed. It's like, yeah, The Boys is enjoyable for, less enjoyable every season, but I mean, let's do,
the shock factor wears off because there's only so many stories they can tell. I mean,
right.
How many times now have they've done he's really gay, or Ezekiel gay, Tech Knight gay. How many times are they going to make a all-American superhero gay? I mean, okay, it's a dig at the reality that in Hollywood we had Jim Nabors. How many? Jim Nabors. Who else was gay?
He didn't come out till like very late. Jim Nabors didn't. Everyone kind of knew it, but
everybody knew it. But when he came out, he was forced into retirement in the 80s, and he spent the next 20 years living with his boyfriend in Hawaii.
Well, he made a lot of money in real estate. He didn't need.
Yes, he didn't need. Well, he owned the lot north of Bakersfield from the days of him being on the set of the Marines, the one where
Gomer Pyle USMC.
Gomer Pyle, yeah, that's when he started buying real estate because he was looking at all these backlots, and as he was driving to and from work, there's all these for sale signs, and there's like he couldn't believe the prices.
So Gomer was gay?
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know Jim Nabors was gay. That's crazy. Maybe I did. Actually, I don't know. I'm trying to
were a
think.
lot of
My
Hollywood
dad's a big
stars.
fan of the Andy Griffith Show, so I don't remember.
No, look, I think he became. I don't know if he was gay at the beginning or not, but there was a point where people started to realize that he was definitely. But he was adult gay, like he was like straight up, not like these today's activists, right? He was just a straight up man who had a thing for men who were like him, big and strong. I forget a couple of really big names in Hollywood were gay, and when they came out, or when people started dying from AIDS, like as progressive as Hollywood's always tried to make themselves out to be.
Yeah, Rock Hudson didn't do too well.
No, Rock Hudson and others were not allowed to come out. Even when other actors were coming out, they were told not to come out by the studios or they'd be fired. It's really weird. But again, back to the boys, they always act as if this is stunning and brave and, like a big shock revelation.
It is.
But they're running out. Like, they're becoming a one-trick pony where every, what next? Homelander saying, I'm not sexually attracted to you. Like,
right.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still entertaining to see Anthony Starr go off and psychotically kill somebody about every third episode. But I mean, so that'll be entertaining to watch that escalate, hopefully in the final season. So,
yeah, well, we're finally getting the if anybody's followed the comics, it's a lot longer than 5 seasons, but
right.
And there are 3 major arcs, right? You've got the birth of the boys, right? That's the first, right? The world discovering to much of their shock that the superheroes behind the scenes are not good, decent people. And that's when you get, and that's the investigations of Tech Knight and all that stuff, right? That's a big, long, like 3, 4, 5 volumes. And then you have what you have coming now is the Storm Brewing, Stormfront and all that. And you have the Soup v Soup action, and then you have the Soups take over. And then, of course, the finality is, as you've all pretty much been foreshadowed, the V virus. Now, I know how the story ends because I've read the comics, and I know the final frame where Huey is standing over the dead body of Butcher. That's a big spoiler that's been shown everywhere for a long time now, and I think Garth has moved on to something else, hasn't he? He's no longer working on the boys. He's working on a comic book of his own now.
I'm sure he's still a producer, but
yeah,
or is he? I don't know.
No, as far as I know, all the scripts are now written, right? And he's left.
Right.
He's still getting credit, but because that's how it works in TV. You got to do all the scripts ahead of time, And he's not really a producer. He's just getting producer credit. He's working on another set of comics, but he's the original mind. The thing is he going to be a one-trick pony where he's just deconstructing something else? He did The Watchmen. I mean, The Boys is just another Watchmen, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Well, it's more like, what if superheroes were like celebrities probably are? So it's like a slightly different angle than Watchmen, but it's the ground's been tread before. There was martial law, there was Brat Pack, or the Brat Pack.
Yeah.
Omni-Man, which was a shoot off of Rick Veitch's Brat Pack, which is, you know, I mean, it's all been covered. I mean,
a lot of people are saying that Omni-Man is doing The Boys better.
Well,
and I haven't seen much of it, and I think
I'm talking about the comic, Maxi Human, I guess is what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. Omni-Man's a totally different one.
Yeah.
The Maxi Mortal. That's what it was called. That was an offshoot of Brat Pack. That was a comic. You see, I'd like to see Brat Pack and Maxi Mortal become a series. I mean, I don't know if they that's so dark. I don't even know if they would do that. They probably would, but
yeah.
who knows?
Problem is Amazon seems to be focusing on either something that's super bright and super, and then they drop it for a season. It's the same with Netflix. Like, if you didn't know, right, lo and behold, Netflix is, the head of Netflix is one of the biggest donors to the Democrat Party. As you know, one of Netflix's biggest problems is that they start a good series, it gains popularity, and then they drop it. But if a series is mediocre and costs them nothing to produce, they'll keep it running forever. It seems to be very in keeping with this whole deconstruction model. It's getting rather tiresome. Where nothing can be straight. Nothing can be is what it is. There always has to be a dark secret. I mean, I know it works for Harry Potter, but eventually, when you repeat a theme over and over again, like during the cowboy era, the lone gunman, people just, what about other stories? Can you give us another story, please? And I think that's why The Boys is starting to lose viewers, is not so much the woke stuff, but please give us a different story.
Yeah.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh, Tech Note's gay. What a surprise. Next will be Stan Edgar, I suppose. He's not married. He dresses too neatly.
I think he was so much gay as polymorphously perverse. I mean, he would go after anything at that.
Yeah. But I think because the actor has enough gravitas to say no and just stand there and say, "What are you going to do? Fire me? I'll walk away." I could get because he could get another role in anything. He could go make 20 million doing another Ubisoft Far Cry game. He could get a lot of roles very quickly. He does not need The Boys. That's why you hardly see him, is because he's expensive and he does bring viewers. He's one of the few actors that. Now, one of the things I don't like is how people on Twitter have been treating the guy who does Homelander. Just because he plays a villain does not mean he's a villain in real life. It means he's a good actor.
People are giving him crap about that in real life. That's messed up. They shouldn't be doing that.
They are.
For what?
Again, that's the stupidity of the masses, though,
I don't know. That's so stupid.
It is. It's like typecasting,
Yeah.
Stop typecasting actors. I mean, Carl Urban is not typecast. People say, but people forget how many different roles he's had.
Oh, he's like a chameleon. I mean, you can't even recognize him.
I had no knowledge about him until I saw him in The Boys and realized how much stuff he had been in previously, and was like, dude, this dude's awesome. Like,
he was the best thing about those new Star Trek movies. I mean, his bones was on point.
I didn't even see. I haven't seen. I think I've only seen one or two of the new ones.
No, the fifth one keeps falling apart. They can't keep that one together.
There was 5 of them. Together.
Yeah, that's never going to see the light of day.
Or will never be finished. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It looks like because J.J. Abrams can't pull his finger out and produce a TV show that nobody. I mean, why people? He is not the genius behind Lost. Okay, that has become clear to so many people now. It's not funny. It was the two guys who wrote the original series. J.J. Abrams come along and said, "Oh, this looks good. I'll do it. I'll take the job," and he became famous for it. But it wasn't him who made Lost. It was all written and handed to him by the studio. The studio handed to him and put J.J. Abrams Lost. It's not.
That's like Vince Russo saying he was the. That's like Vince Russo saying he was the architect of the Attitude Era for the WWF, when everybody fucking knows who the real guy is.
Yeah,
it's painfully obvious.
It's like saying J.J. Abrams is the reason why the Star Wars movie did so well. I'm sorry, The Force Awakens did well because it was Star Wars, and it was Star Wars. It was,
and people had been waiting for so long.
Yeah, so long. And the fact that they were promised the OG
Rogue One to be the last good one.
Yeah. But people only went to see that movie because of the OG.
At least with that one, they made it actually good.
Are you talking about Star Wars?
Force Awakens. The only
that movie
made recently. And the number one reason why people went to see The Force Awakens was to see the original characters, and they were so disappointed.
My sister nearly
and half the people. That's the thing. A lot of people say, "Oh, Rian Johnson ruined Star Wars." No, J.J. Abrams did, and the facts play out for themselves. That most people did not go to see the second one because J.J. didn't put all of the characters into the first one and feature them prominently or in a positive light.
Yeah, I guess I can see that. Well, I don't know. I mean, what do you mean? Because JJ told a story. I mean, regardless of it being a flat out reboot of A New Hope, where do you like the issue? The issue falls on Rian Johnson for not communicating with JJ about the characters and the plan.
JJ Abrams wouldn't communicate with, and that was Kathleen Kennedy. He told the directors they weren't allowed to corroborate or cooperate on the series. They had to see each other. They had to watch the movie and then do their thing. But JJ,
so stupid.
But here's the problem. When Rian Johnson was handed the second movie, the first movie hadn't even come out. It was still in editing. So he only had JJ's notes on the characters. And that's all he was allowed to see before he started production on the script. Which is, that's Kathleen Kennedy, not the director's fault.
That's incredibly idiotic.
There was no writer's room.
South Park
room that cut continuity or anything.
Yeah, you gotta put a chick in it, make her lame and gay.
Yeah, but even that.
Oh, my sister nearly stormed out on that Rose Tico scene where she saves Finn and everything. She nearly stormed out of the theater.
That was a hashtag Me Too moment. She didn't ask.
That was like her almost getting up moment.
Yeah,
that was her almost get up moment. The other one was the kiss too. That was her second.
Yeah.
So half the audience turns out restrain my sister from storming out.
Yeah, exactly. So Rian Johnson was working with half the audience. So what's he do? He halves it again. Because he was he's a deconstructionist, right?
There's so much going on in that movie. You could
But nobody sat down and then later admitted till much later that they never watched the original series and that J.J. Abrams was only interested in trying to get a Spider-Man movie for his son. And it's like, this is how corrupt Hollywood is, That's all that. Like, they're so overpaid because we got so used to the ticket price going up every year.
Yep, pretty much.
And $40 DVDs. Well, they're not even worth. You could go buy a stack of 100 for like, blanks. A stack of 100 for like a couple of bucks. They're not very expensive. They're not that expensive that the movie has to be $40 to buy.
Yeah, it's not 40 here yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah.
There's
But Sony's
Blu-rays,
now talking about walking away from DVDs.
I think
because-
Blu-rays are like 32 now.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's the same with video games. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, video game studios are making far more money than the movie studios, and Sony's sitting there going, "We've got to get away from this," you know, because they want to cut. They want to cut. You know, like they have a huge budget, obviously, for the disc makers, the artists, and all this. But really, they want to put 12. You know, this is how bad the desperation is because they can't increase sales, right?
Yeah.
Well,
they just want to. They want to make more money, but they also want to have. They want to be able to like short you and give you less product.
Yeah, the only way they can make more money is to give you less product. Yes, and that's what they did with movies. This is why we had lower quality CGI in a lot of movies. Is because Disney has been cutting the cost, and then Bob Iger fires the woman he hired to do it. And it's like, well, you failed me. You know, you failed me for the last time. But everybody sees that it's the studio mandates, whether it be in video games or movies, is like you said, they want to short us because that's the only way they can make more money. But they're already making all the money, and it's ridiculous. Like, like they cut a number of TV shows. I mean, I didn't know they made over 500 TV shows, but like that's obviously there's just way too much production. Because who's going to watch 500 TV shows?
Of what?
Well, I think they count the number. I think what they mean is you know, number of episodes. Like if you look at all the different TV shows on TV, there's like 500 something episodes of television. You know, you got this show's 22, this show's 10, this show's 6, 5, 4. But you notice it's shrinking. Like The Boys 10 years ago would have been easily dragged out over 20 episodes. Or a 50 episode special, you know. No,
yeah. Brat Pack.
Oh,
by Rick Veitch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Live fast, love hard, die with your mask on. It's in black and white, but it's pretty good.
Well, so is the original. The thing is, the original Ninja Turtles was originally black and white, and a rather it was a dark graphic novel about 4 mutants that were on a killing spree. They were dark heroes, basically. They killed hey, we catch you committing a crime, we kill you now. They were definitely how they turned it into a bright colored TV show was the fact that the studios, they said we couldn't sell this. So the guy who was pitching it just turns around and says, okay. He went to another studio, and this time he pitched it as a used the color palette from Scooby-Doo and just basically didn't say anything.
Oh, you froze. Or am I froze?
$1 million budget.
David froze.
Oh, okay.
That's funny. He's probably still talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's cool, man. Hey, I found something on Twitter. I think it would be a great transition just to, since we're finally out of an hour, we can talk about other things. But let's have a little bit of nice, like, this is genuinely good, happy. It's this little kid. This kid's meeting Hulk Hogan.
Road nose, brother. let me tell you.
No, let me tell you something, bro. You walk in this beat shop, I'm surprised that you still got the shirt on, Jack.
Well, let me tell you something. Oh, sir, the first time I met you, I was only 3 years old, but now I'm 6 years old. So now we gotta take it to a big level, man. Just like when you put that no good stinking giant over your head.
That is so spot on.
What are they gonna do when the power?
He has been practicing.
Oh my gosh.
24
Good.
I thought so wild on you.
That was awesome.
That
was
kid
so
has
cool.
talent.
I thought that was hilarious.
Respect to the kid. The kid.
That's so amazing.
That was good.
The caption of that video said, "This kid didn't meet Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan met him."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That kid has talent.
Let's see. Now we can discuss other things.
that's
Is Joe Biden stepping down?
Okay, there was a few things trending on X. Okay, 6 hours ago, Joe was on Air Force One and he met with his doctor. They said that, but so there was a lot of question marks over that. But that was like neither here nor there because he was just basically nobody would answer the questions. But it seems he's doing an interview with ABC or something, and he was just preparing. How do you prepare for an interview by meeting with your doctor? But the only other thing trending was AI robots.
Well, we're talking about Biden, so let's stick on that.
Yeah, Biden and okay, who is knives out for Biden? We got Whitmer, Gavin Newsom, and Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Now they're all
And Big Mike. Don't forget about Big Mike.
Big Mike says she don't want to run.
Oh yeah, don't forget about Big Mike and
he
Penis
still might want to run. I don't know.
Oh, I don't. Oh, you know, YouTube algorithms.
You honestly don't think
people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't be all PC on me now, David.
I'm just trying not to get you to strike. I'm just trying not to get you a strike.
I don't care. We're past the hour. It's fine.
All right, past the hour. Big Mike is allegedly not running, and that Obama said that he supports Biden.
I don't. It's gonna be too late to do anything, isn't it? I mean, they've got.
Well, they're pretty much split. According to the DNC and Politico, you can't replace him.
Right. I don't think they can do it. They might try. I think this is my. I'll put on my conspiracy hat.
Hold that thought. Just a second. Just hold that thought. This video popped up and it's hysterical. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but you need to listen. Just listen.
And as the president said, I teach English. I teach at Nova. Have you heard of Northern Virginia Community College? Yeah. Okay, it's not far from here. So
Wait for
my
it.
first day is next Tuesday. So.
Oh, there's a clip. There's a clip for the button. There's a button. There is
Oh my gosh.
Give that kid an A+.
All right, so you're talking about your conspiracy hat.
Oh, this is my theory. They plan on electing him again, and then he will immediately Minecraft out of the picture, either with help or with something else, and then they plan to replace him. I don't know how that's going to work, how that would work with Kamala, because I don't. It's going to be pretty difficult for them to do what they did in 2020 in my opinion.
Well, in
but
2020,
who knows?
Here's what I think.
there was the infamous 6-week speech, right, where he says, I'm not feeling all right. I may be only president for 6 weeks, you know?
Mhm.
So it's hard to say.
I don't know.
I
don't know what they're going to do. They can't
here's
really
my
replace
view on it.
Kamala. I mean, unless something happens to both of them. I mean, they usually don't have the president and vice president in the same room for that reason.
Well, here's the thing. Here's how I'm looking at it, because you are correct. They cannot over. I mean, as much as we hate Kamala, the Democrats have really painted themselves in a corner. They are losing with Biden. Kamala is even worse, and Nancy is gone. So
Right.
there's Johnson, and I highly doubt his dumbass could even become president. Because
Yeah,
remember,
he ain't
it's
doing
the
nothing.
it's the president, vice president, it's the president, vice president, and then the Speaker of the House. That's the current structure.
Right.
So here's the problem. Here's the problem. They want Gavin Newsom. They're gunning for Gavin Newsom. They want him in. From my
I can't see that happening though.
Well, that's
Well,
the
they
problem,
want him
but
in
they don't
before
want
California collapses.
They don't, but they also worry, because if they go with Gavin Newsom and completely sideline Kamala, the Democrat Party, whatever's left of it, will completely collapse on its head. Like, we're gonna see massive drawbacks. And personally, I love seeing the destruction of these people. I love seeing it, because they're in a corner that they have no way out of this. Because remember, and I'm still thinking. I mean, for Big Mike to run, you need to do a lot of convincing to get him or her to even run. But the problem is there are two black women on the ticket, and it's
thing.
Now I have nothing against the idea. No. It's just, how do you go about it?
Well, here's the thing. They
but
convinced.
Also, there is one more thing.
Yeah.
This is a perfect opportunity for Clinton to come back. This is a perfect opportunity.
Please, God, no.
Think about it.
Yeah.
He's already run 2 terms. He can't run again.
No.
You mean Hillary? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about Hillary. I wish I could do that again.
Remember, they convinced 60%.
Let me grab my Men in Black shades. I'll grab my Men in Black shades and I'll flash the light.
Remember,
I totally forgot about her.
Yeah,
that's always unfortunately a possibility.
With Nixon, right? Remember, the Republicans had a huge supermajority with Nixon. And then they convinced 60% of Americans that Nixon was a crook. So they thought they could do anything. But you got to go back just slightly before Nixon, and then you have LBJ. Now, LBJ stood down, even though he was the president, but he had a genuine illness. And despite all the talk, he knew that he was up to here with the Vietnam War, that he had made so many mistakes that it was just like Truman and Korea, that they just meddled so much and just lost the public trust, that he didn't want a humiliating defeat. Joe doesn't have the cognitive awareness that he's possibly facing a humiliating defeat.
Mm-hmm.
So according to Leading Report, which is a pretty...
They can also Minecraft him with that.
Yeah. Minecraft him would work better to put Kamala in, because
So according to Leading Report, which is a pretty good source of stuff that I've seen, reports of Biden experiencing a medical emergency appear to be false. He was seen landing in Wilmington, Delaware, after his campaign event in Wisconsin. There's no confirmation at this moment if he recovered on the flight or if reports were false. So a lot of people are speculating. Someone commented self-defecation is not a medical emergency. But yeah.
According to Politico and ABC, he did say he consulted with his doctor before doing an ABC interview. So
yeah. So I don't know. There's a medical emergency. Despite numerous reports claiming otherwise, as former Vice President Joe Biden landed back in Delaware around 7:30 this evening. So he's back on his morphine drip.
That's the thing. No other president. Oh, well, I think not for a long time. I think there were a few, but it's been a long time since we've had a president who's rarely in the White House.
Right.
And then goes home for the weekend constantly.
Yeah.
And then they tell us that he's working hard for he's constantly working hard for the American people. And then then you see him on the beach for a week and a half, and like, here's the problem: we see it. The vast majority of people don't see it. The vast majority of people do not see as much news as we do. The vast majority of people bury their head in the sand and read the sports reports because they don't want to know. They know something's wrong, but they don't want the bubble burst. You know what I mean? It's like somebody high on drugs who's facing the fact that it now takes 3 or 4 shots of morphine to basically give them a buzz. You know, they just don't want to face the reality that that everything's artificial, that everything's, you know, they still want that morphine hit from the media that everything's all right. But I mean, face facts. You had Joe telling us that he wouldn't send attackers to Ukraine. He did. Then you had Joe saying that he never talked to Putin. Turned out in 21 he did talk to Putin. We have coming out as facts that the US have been kicked out of Nigeria. Joe said there was nothing wrong in Nigeria. They're constantly lying and they don't know what to do anymore.
Oh, of course. That's just what they do.
Now, what happened in Nigeria was a tragedy. The Nigerian government is to blame, but Joe, instead of taking it on the chin and saying, "Look, we offered them assistance," they refused it. Instead, the Nigerian president blaming the US for the latest attacks or whatever, failing to protect them. I mean, it's this stupid mind game that the CIA and all these organizations play. They don't want to wipe out terrorism because it means they put themselves out of jobs. The problem is the African nations want the terrorists gone, and they asked the US to come in and wipe them out, and they didn't. If you take a job, you do it. You don't half-ass it and then think, oh, they're going to give us another, you know. It's like a contractor comes into your house to build a kitchen, and all he does is tear it out and then say, oh, now I need $3,000 to put a new one in, you know. This is the problem, you know. The Joe, just like so many other Democrats before him, are so driven by the polls that, I don't want to, wait, I'm fighting terrorism. I'm up in the polls. And then the next day, the Muslims are calling you anti-Islamic. I'm no longer fighting terrorism. Call back the troops. They can't take a position. They can't take a position. They're constantly spinning the wheel. It's like playing Biden bingo, you know. Every day it's a different tick on the card. But
Right.
watch me what, you know,
Hysterical.
mumbling about some event, in I could ride a bike, or I could do these push-ups, or when corn pop when I was a boy. But a lot of people forget, what did Joe Biden, when he ran in 72 or 74? What did he say about the Democratic incumbent in Delaware? That he was too old, and that after 40 years in government, it was time for a change. Well, Joe, 50 years later, it's time for a change. That the diaper is definitely full. Have you seen I was looking for it before. That's why I was leaning forward. Did you see the new Depends ads that's been floating around Twitter? High security Depends with Joe in a Depends. I was trying to find it. High security Depends.
Yes, the diaper is full at this point.
Yeah. And for all the talk about Trump and his
shit.
You know why they can't run Gavin Newsom?
Why?
Well, you know how they're going to run about Trump and Stormy Daniels?
Mm-hmm.
Gavin Newsom had an affair with his campaign manager's wife.
Right. Yep.
And why they can't run Mitmer? Because she too had an affair.
Mm-hmm.
That the whole kidnapping scheme was cooked up to cover up for her having an affair with her campaign manager.
Affairs all over the place, basically.
Oh, basically, yeah. Basically, the Democrats are having a huge moral crisis. And Dr. Coffindales is saying, what is new?
Yeah.
Yeah, we go back to LBJ. We go back to Truman, and we go back to Roosevelt.
How many principals? How many principals are baying their assistants right now? How many principals are? It's everywhere nowadays.
No, it's the problem with people clutching their pearls about morality is they're often projecting their own immorality. They're most outraged by the things they are doing themselves. We have people saying, "Atheism is a cult."
They're clutching pearls, all right. Oh, they're clutching pearls, all right. They're squeezing the nutsack of masculine men and want beta boys instead.
Well, here's the problem, right? Back in the 90s, I remember it, where all the media was pushing metrosexuals, right? It isn't the masculine men. And the thing is, if men didn't roll over for women, we wouldn't have these problems. But, men being men are almost biologically programmed to roll over for women at this point. I mean, it's actually been going on for centuries. It's just never reached critical mass before. Every time the gay agenda would raise its head, there would be a huge moral outrage.
Somebody shooting?
That is the fireworks I was talking about.
Oh, wow.
So I'll mute that if you want.
Wow.
It's all right.
Yeah, this has been going on for a week. It'll go on for another week.
That's awesome.
I'm just happy that my dog went deaf a few years ago, so I didn't have to put up with this anymore.
Howling, yeah.
He probably feels it.
Oh yeah. But I gotta get going anyway, guys. But
yeah, we're gonna bounce here in just a few minutes. I gotta roll too.
Okay.
We'll finish up by just saying we're gonna be live tomorrow morning for Coffee and Gaming, 7 a.m. We're gonna get back to regular schedule. I took this morning and just kind of relaxed and chilled. It was nice to have some downtime and not have to rush on here and jump on here and do stuff. But
it's always nice.
Anywho, 7:30 tomorrow morning will be Coffee and Gaming right here on the men's room. Don't go anywhere if you're on X and YouTube. It'll be right on this channel. Rumble's the stream will be set up here in just a few minutes. Check on all of our links. David's got a couple books for sale. Anime Night goes live on Sunday evenings and other days, but his link's in the description so you can check them out. Dr. Coffin Nails might be working on something. I'm not sure. Last time we talked about it, you were thinking.
I'm still in the planning stages, but it's definitely going to happen by this fall.
Good deal.
Now that I've got more time to do stuff.
I need to get off my butt and do stuff too. Like I've got ideas that I just can't get pen to paper. So anyway,
I'll be posting videos other than that one video I have had on my channel for 4 years now. So I'll try to get something.
Nice. All right, guys. You guys have a great night. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow. What?
I also broke 350 subs, so
there you go. Good job.
Away.
Nice.
Good job.
Nice.
Good job. Anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning for Coffee and Gaming, 7 a.m. on the Eastern time. You guys have a great night. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye! Bye-bye.
Good day, sir.
Later, dudes.
Good night, Jimbo.
Hell, I got to go.
Peace out.
Burn in hell, New World Order. Fuck you. You, New World Order. You, Bill Gates.